Welcome to No Concession Sessions. We're going down the path of the culinary world today. Chef Chris is here. We have another chef, Chef Sid Rubenstein is in the house. I'm Justin, your host as usual. Curfews on the ones and twos in the background. So Sid is a personal chef for Zach Wilson of the New York Jets, correct? All right, cool. And you grew up around here.
Yes.
Also from Jersey, your family is from that area? Or do you live there at one point?
I live there now. My mom grew up in Jersey right by where I live, and then the rest of them's all from Long Island.
Okay, it's in Long Island. Your sister works with us, Casey. She's awesome, a great part of our team, and that's how we were able to get you as a guest to our show today. Shout out to Casey. We've had a lot of variety of guests here, but never a chef.
Really?
Other than he's sharing the mic with Chef Chris today. I hear you specialize in French cooking.
Yes, correct.
So what made you want to go into French cooking?
So it was kind of part of our school. I took French in high school because I knew that all my textbooks were all going to be in French.
Okay.
So as soon as I got there, I saw all that French stuff in there, and I still didn't know what the hell it was. I didn't pay attention in class, but that's kind of where it all came from. So everything we do is based off of Paul Bocuse, the old famous chef, and so everything's all French, written in French, spoken in French. Everything we do is in French.
A lot of the stuff that Chris talks to me about is in French, and I don't know how to write it or read it. But what is it about France that creates a model or a foundation for cuisine? What do they do that's so special?
They put everything in butter. More butter is better.
Buttercream, bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lardon.
And so you're just ambitious. You able to reach out. And I saw that there was a write-up in the paper a couple weeks ago about your journey and your story. Do you want to elaborate on how you got the kahunas to go through this process to get where you're at today?
Well, pretty much everything I do, I'm pretty outspoken about everything. I kind of don't hide nothing, so I've always been very outgoing in every sense. So I was just I was in Hawaii at my extern, and I was just screw it, let's go for it. And I just started DMing every single player on the Jets, all my favorite teams, hitting up every single player, and just so happens the most important guy, the one I like the most, was the only one that reached back to me. And he was like, hey, he's like, is it a problem if I live in Jersey? And I was like, no. And then farther months went down the road, and he's telling me where I got to live at, all these different places I got to go to. He's like, all right, you got 2 weeks, can you move in? Is that fine? And I was just all right, whatever, I'll get over there.
So you live at Zach's residence?
No, so I have my own place. I was with Zach. So originally he told me that I was going to be staying with him, but then he said he was I kind of want more privacy because his last chef was living with him.
Okay.
And he was just can you get a place to stay? And I was like, well, he kind of dropped it on me with a week left and no credit, and I'm still in college. And so I had to gather up some money, and then I got that place over there, and then just been working ever since.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have two favorite podcasts. Well, three, I guess, technically, but Joe Rogan obviously influenced the whole reason I want to even do a podcast. This is my outlet. It's kind of fun. It's one of the greatest things about working here is being able to do this. But the other one was I Am Athlete with Brandon Marshall, Fred Taylor, and they had personal chefs on there all the time, and they were part of their family. Auntie is what they refer to as. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then I got the autograph poster from all of them right before they had to split up. And I love Fred and Channing, but whenever is it customary that everyone has this, or are there some quarterbacks that just want to do it themselves?
It kind of depends. Mostly everyone has one, but the players that aren't really as well known or have as much money, they typically just go to the training facility and they have a team of chefs in every facility that cooks all their meals. So unless they want a more personal thing, it's basically just that.
So the team that they're with, they have a dietitian, and
yeah,
they kind of assign them. So you take care of the offensive line and quarterback?
Yeah, and I'm kind of spreading around to all types of different sports now. It's just slowly but steadily growing right now.
So what's the calorie needs of a offensive lineman for the Jets?
So theirs is pretty much the same as Zach's, because Zach's trying to bulk up. That was his whole thing. All right. So he's eating about 4,500 calories a day. And so those guys are pretty much doing the same. You would think they would eat more, but surprisingly they eat less.
Okay.
Because they're trying to kind of reduce weight and build more muscle mass.
Sure.
And all the other players are small, so they're trying to get all bulked up.
Like Vulcan season.
Yeah, it's like all carbohydrates and like lots of protein.
Wow. And do you coordinate with the team with some information sharing or?
Yeah, so they'll tell me what foods they like. Now, like Zach is like the most pickiest guy there is. He won't eat a little chunk of onion. He won't eat a little chunk of tomato. Nothing. He just wants plain chicken, plain rice, all boring, some sauce on it, and just stuff like that. And all the other players, like they kind of change around with it, but their nutritionist pretty much writes up a plan for me of what they can and can't eat, and like tells me the calories I have to follow. And
Okay.
I just have to measure everything while I'm there. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward.
So you've been a Jets fan forever?
Yes.
I wanted a Joe Namath jersey. I should have got one before today's podcast. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Joe Namath's my favorite Jet. Okay. I'm glad it's not the Giants.
That's true. I hate the
You know,
Giants.
being an NFC East guy, the Giants. So number 2 overall pick, right? Is that
Yeah.
Zach? And he's had he's a BYU.
Yeah.
So with Mormon diets, is there any special rules with that, or?
So he's Mormon, like originally, but he doesn't follow the guidelines.
Okay.
He follows like none of it. He's just kind of. He says he's more like spiritually attached,
Okay.
but
It's like Kelly and her family, same thing.
Sure.
yeah.
My wife's Mormon.
Oh,
It's
really?
the same. Yeah, same. It's the same deal. He went to be Dick Badger.
Yeah.
Shout out Dick Badger again.
That's
He
awesome.
went to BYU. Yeah.
So you're trying to turn him into Josh Allen legs over
Pretty
here with the
much.
beef up because you're gonna need that, the
He-
contact, man.
He gained a lot of weight so
Good.
far. He's been really. I mean, he's way bigger. If you look at photos from like last season compared to now, like looks like he's bulked up.
Yeah.
The only problem is with no offensive line, he can't really do much.
Yeah.
So like the whole state of New Jersey and all of New York, they all hate him right now, which is like crazy to think about. I mean, he's a kid. He's my age. That's
Yeah.
why like we get along so well. He's like my brother. Everyone thinks I'm related to him.
Yeah.
So
You're around the same height too. Was you 6'2"?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a little bigger than he is. So
Well,
he's
the thing that people forget, man, is
You bully him, or you like,
oh yeah, big time.
hey, Pipsqueak, you're gonna eat your food. You're gonna like it.
When I play him in video games, I'll play him in Madden every so often. Oh, I make sure I use him just to destroy
Yeah,
him.
that's wild, man. Playing Madden with a professional football player, man.
It's terrible. They know all the plays, so they know exactly what play is going to be open. And in my head, I'm just like, okay, well, at least I know how to play video games.
Yeah, but if you can outclass them, with the hand-eye coordination,
Oh, that's all day.
Yeah, they can know plays all day, dude. If you can get around them with the buttons and stuff. It's athleticism. That's why they have esports are now a thing in college, and
Madden is what I do for stress relief.
I tell him, he's like, oh, I'm so bored. I play all these people, and I can't, he can't get no satisfaction. And I'm telling him he needs to try his hand at the professional esports thing.
I have it on expert mode. I haven't been able to lose in franchise mode through expert level.
Wow.
Anybody
And I have
watching this?
I have the Cleveland Browns too. That was my
Jeez.
franchise. I wanted to take the worst team in chat.
I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to do like that online fantasy draft thing,
Yeah.
with like a whole bunch of people. I thought that'd be so sick, like a whole league. I
Oh
could
my-
never get enough people for that though.
I might delve into it. I don't know.
Did you have a tap on literally people in the NFL? You could start. That'd be even more wild if you could do that. That could be like another hustle, man. You get like
Yeah.
an e-league of actual NFL players. I don't know what kind of contractual issues that might arise there, but that would be rad too, dude.
They get angry though because when they see their stats like in the game and it's not like how they think they are in real life, they get pissed. Like Zach sees himself as like a 74 overall.
Right.
He's like, I'm way faster than that. They got like Mahomes with like 90 speed and he's got like 70 and he's getting all mad.
No, Mahomes isn't very big though, is he?
I
At least the eye test, he doesn't look that big.
think he's about the same height as Zach, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. But there's some midget. He told me Kyler Murray's like literally like looks like a
Yeah, he's really little,
4-year-old
dude.
4-year-old kid.
I can't believe he got the bag.
Yeah, and he's got it.
That's crazy. And now there's a real big situation because they gave the bag away to too many people.
It's true.
And they just raised the ceiling on all this.
Russell Wilson, yeah, he's the problem.
Yeah, God.
Getting all that money just to stink it up in Denver.
Yeah, it's not good. I had it in my fantasy league one time last year. They tell me one of my boys, Gabe, in the league, Gabe, he came out and helped us out here. And he's like, oh, you got him. He's always healthy. He's always a good first start for at least, 20 completions. Some bitch gets hurt. It was And that was the year he did that weird video. Do you remember the Russell Wilson video where he's like, I am Mr. Invincible? Or, oh, God, it was this weird.
No, I haven't seen that. All I know is like the one where it's like Broncos country. Let's ride.
Oh,
that
yeah,
whole
let's
thing?
ride. Pat McCaffrey
Man,
tearing him up
Come
on
on,
that.
be nice, man. Russell Wilson, man, that dude's awesome. He's a nice guy. See, I'm trying to help you out just in case he hits. He's like, hey, I want a personal chef, and man, he should holler at you and then just hire you and make your life hell because you talk shit on the
Stick with
podcast.
Zach. I mean, the New York market is a big market, man. So it's hard for anybody to get into that market and be successful. Or Dallas, those are big. And LA, I guess now is becoming one.
Yeah.
Do you travel with the team when they go? Or
I don't at the moment. I might because now I have 25 other people besides him.
yeah,
So now I got to worry about
all
them
on the
too.
Jets.
Some on like one's on the Knicks, one's on the Mets, Rangers player.
Nice.
So I'm trying to hit all sports so I have something to do all season because like right now I'm kind of like stuck doing nothing except
Right.
for like meal prepping. If I do that on a Sunday, like I have like a week off. Kind of just take a break and realize what I'm doing right now.
So, like, as a chef, do you find yourself ever, frustrated with having a client that is very specific in what they want to eat? Like, you can't trying to get them to branch out. Like, hey, bro, dude, let's look. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know this sounds weird, but it's gonna be good. And they try to slide on the radar. I try to do it with him a lot of times. But I mean, that's got to be, as much as all the awesome stuff is, I'm sure, like, as a chef, sometimes you're like, do you get to the point where you're like, come on, man, like, can we try something different this time?
Yeah, 100%. He asked me. He'll like make jokes like when his mom would come in and stuff like that. And he's like, I know Sid's getting mad because he can't make what he wants to make, and he's just making my crappy food all the time. But on Thursday, so every Thursday we'll do a dinner for the whole offensive line. Like everyone will come over, all the quarterbacks, everything. That's when I get to really like show some creativity. Except I have to make like 100 of them by myself.
Whoa.
Well, you probably, how much food goes? So you have, how many people is it total?
That's like 15 linemen and like and like 3 quarterbacks.
So you have 18 dudes that are all like 250 plus.
Oh yeah, 6'8", 6'9", 400 pounds. Like
What is a grocery shopping? What is a grocery trip look? Is that how you're sourcing your products? You go into the store?
yeah. So Zach would give me
It's
like
about 60,000 calories.
yeah. And Zach would give me like a little card, like this is a normal Apple card or something like that. And I'd go over there and I'd buy all the food, and he'd like get the price, and then it'll change every week who's gonna pay for everything. So as soon as like we'll make the meal and like be done, like somebody has to pay me. So some random person will send Zach like $1,000 like Venmo or something like that, because it depends on how much like I make for food. I try to keep it around $300, $200. He doesn't like going over that. He's pretty cheap, so I try to keep it under.
Watch what you say about these people, man.
Oh, he knows. If he's watching it, he knows. I've told him plenty of times.
Something I'm curious about with rookies.
frugal.
Do they have like a handler? Like somebody who's like who watches out for him, dude? Seriously.
His dad is like the handler, if I'd have to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's like, there are handlers in all types of businesses, but I would imagine in that one it would be crazy. So if I were an agent, I'd be like, okay, well, when you sign with me, you also have to have this handler with you. You know what I mean? It goes with you everywhere to just get you past this 5 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also a financial advisor that gets rewarded on your like dividends in the future, so you don't like blow all your cash right away.
Yeah.
It's got to be wild, man. There's quite a few that come out of the league and then they don't have much.
It's true.
The numbers, we only see the rare success stories, but dude, there's a lot that probably have gotten in the league for a while and now have financial woes trying to take care of everybody.
There was that one dude, he spent like, I forget how much of his $30 million that he accrued in his career he spent at TGI Fridays. It's something ridiculous. That dude spent tens of millions of dollars at TGI. Dude,
What?
Can you fact check that for me? Look up like NFL player. It's the most wild. Look, as a chef too, you'll be like, how did that happen? And then when you read the story, the dude was like buying rounds of like food and drinks for the entire restaurant, at one time and stuff. But that's where I would be reckless, I think, if I was like thrown into a very high income, very quick high income. Vince Young.
Of course it was Vince.
Okay, that makes sense.
Jesus.
How much was it again, dude? It's ridiculous, dude. The number is phenomenal.
That guy's probably a legend in Fridays forever. Can you imagine that kitchen though?
Rolling
I
up.
see thousands. And also see $5K per week at Cheesecake Factory.
Damn,
For Vince
yo.
Young?
Yeah.
Homeboy was just, well,
Wow.
hey, man, you know, for some people.
Well, that was before
that
rookies had there was a cap on rookie salaries. That was before the cap, I think. So like he got crazy money.
Yeah. And then he got injured, and then his career kind of just ended super
Yeah,
fast.
yeah. He was, dude. I wish he would have been more successful. I really liked him at Texas.
Yeah, he was fun to watch.
He was nasty.
Yeah.
He spent $6,000 in a single sitting at TGI Fridays.
Shout out Vince Young. If you're ever out in the Shenandoah Valley, let's hit TGI Fridays, dog.
He paid a kid $200 to carry his luggage at the airport, and
Just some random kid that he just found.
I guess
Probably.
that's what it's secret here. And he would do $600 worth of shots at Louis. At what?
He was doing Louis the 13th.
Yeah, 13th.
Only $600. That's what, 3 shots of that stuff?
Yeah,
Maybe. It depends on where you are, man. I mean,
guess so.
shit.
So did you ball around here?
I did. I played some football. I played soccer. I played basketball. Pretty much anything you can think of except baseball. I never got into that.
Yeah. What high school?
Stonewall Jackson over at Mount Jackson.
Okay. Did you have to work in any restaurants?
I did. So I worked at the Woodstock Cafe for a couple of years. That was kind of like my job I did on the weekends. I do brunch. And they make some pretty nice food.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They got some pretty high quality stuff. And you don't typically see nice looking food in where we live.
Yeah.
Because it's just so small. There's really nothing going on. Like Cracker Barrel's like everyone's favorite place to eat.
Golden Corral, man. I've only seen one time in like probably in the 250 trips I've made to this place, I've only seen one time ever that parking lot have less than 10 cars in it, man. The Golden Corral food trough.
Yeah, we're trying to find out what is that perfect niche in this community with the price point, the quality, like exactly what this area needs is looking for.
So what they did, like what I thought was like kind of genius, like it was like an idea for me. So like the cafe they strictly do breakfast, and it's just like normal breakfast, like like Egg McMuffins and stuff like that, croissant, and then that would be during the week, and they'd have lunch. They do like sandwiches, like really nice hot sandwiches, whatever drinks, and then when it comes to the weekend, so Saturday and Sunday was when I worked, is they would do brunch, so they do like higher quality breakfast, and then they have dinners only on the weekends.
Okay.
So really fancy dinners that are pretty hefty in price, but
Yeah.
the food's incredible. I mean, he came from this killer restaurant in DC, and he was like the executive chef there. And like when he bought it out, my chef in high school was like, "I'll get you the job, like working for him." They're like, I'll work with her." So me and her were working, and that guy knows a lot of stuff. And then
Right.
for him to just come over here and do it, like he could have went anywhere. Because
Yeah.
like having it over there is like so small, not many people are going to see it. But the people that go, I mean, they know that dinner's incredible.
Well, I think it's like with changing lifestyle, probably a lot of what drew you out this way, and probably me too. At some point, I'd like to have some space between here and I live in Bristow, Virginia, so
Okay.
I'd like to have some space between the two somewhere. You know what I mean? Just to be able to do that farm to table at home.
Yeah.
I'm trying to trick him to get out here full time, to be all the way out. But hey, while you're out here, if you have a chance, go to Vault and Cellar. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. It's in Middletown. It's where Nana's Irish Pub used to be. It's a really, really cool place. Like as a chef, Carrie's an awesome. She's the owner there. Carrie Rushing. Shout out to my homegirl. She's phenomenal. It's a really cool experience. But like so I have some questions for you about your experience at the CIA. So the CIA is the institution. I didn't have the opportunity to go there, or I did, but I didn't do it. But I did actually visit Greystone once.
Okay.
Which was probably one of the coolest things in my career that I did, was where I was working for Club Corps, and they sent a handful of us chefs out to Napa Valley and to Greystone to do like seminars and stuff, and it was a really awesome experience. And so I never got to go to Hyde Park. Mm-hmm. So talking about breakfast, right? The most impressive thing that I saw when I was there was the breakfast class, right? So you get they had this thing where you go into the big mess hall.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that at Hyde Park, it sounds like probably about the same thing. We had different stations set up for breakfast, and the students were running the operation. And it was a class. Mm-hmm. And to me, the awesome thing about that class was not just that you're learning all these different techniques or whatever, but the implementation of enjoying what you're doing during a time where it's probably not what you know, doing breakfast for most chefs, because we're a bunch of, you know, cowboys and pirates, is that, you know, man, we're just getting back in from the bar at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. We got to be back on the line at 9 in the morning, and that's hard. But the thing I really admired about that whole experience was going to breakfast every morning at the CIA and seeing the kids being into it and like being cool. And like when you talk to them, like, oh yeah, dude, you know, man, hey man, I smoked a bowl and came out here and now I'm making omelets, man. It's totally rad. And it was just such an awesome, like, to me, that was like a cool thing. So like, did you do that class or?
Yeah. So everyone's got to go through that. So like it starts off like, starts with fundamentals. That's your first class that you take. That's a whole semester. There we go. It's a whole semester long, and so that's typically like the longest class you're going to take is a semester long class. So that once that one's out of the way, to me that one was like the most annoying and hardest one, because it's like stuff that, like, if you worked in restaurants beforehand and did culinary before, it's like, you know, the fundamentals already. They're kind of doing that to kind of nail it down in your head, but it kind of gets annoying because you're doing stuff you've been doing for the past like year in high school, like training and stuff like that, and now you're doing it again.
Yeah, but you're getting like the real technical.
Yeah.
I think like one of my, like, I mean, if I don't have any regrets really, just because I'm shameless, but the one thing I think if I could do it differently, I would have done a 2-year, like at CIA or Johnson and Wales or one of the cordon, like cool cordon bleu ones. So yeah, so that's awesome, man. So like, was that part of the class though, where they tell you like you have to, like, you know, this is where you're on stage and this is like, you know, this is when you have to push yourself to really realize if this is for you or not, type of thing.
Fundamentals is pretty much, that's like that first class where you're like, okay, am I going to be doing this for the whole time or am I going to drop out? Because that's, most people drop out. I think we have like I think it's like less than 50% of students drop out and never graduate. So like my graduating class, like I started off when I got there was like 1,000 kids. It was one of the biggest groups of kids ever coming into that school. So we had about 1,000 and something students. I graduated with 30. If that says anything.
Wow. Well, from difficulty or?
There's like stages to it. And as you go through it, the chefs get harder and harder and they start to get meaner and meaner. And then you start to get that real world experience in there from those guys, because they got some crazy chefs. My favorite chef was Chef Riley. And that guy, he'll let you have it. Sure. And no one's safe in that class. Like there was my friend was from Russia and he was trying to curse him out in Russian, like, you know, just so he like wouldn't understand it. Turns out he was a chef in Russia at one point. Gets up in his ear and starts yelling at him in Russian. And my friend Misha was like shaking, like he was getting all scared. He's like, how the hell does this guy know this? Shit. The Korean kids were getting the same thing. He knows Korean.
Right.
And when he was in Russia, that guy was shot like 3 times when he was working there. Because he was working back when it was like run by gangs in Russia.
Uh-huh.
Hey man, that's what I think. That's one of the cool things about the chef life, is that you could find yourself in these. You have these opportunities to go, because food's everywhere, and people want to eat everywhere, and so you have opportunity in a lot of places where other professions not so much. And then not only that, because you're in this like weird, it's like my friend Mike Doyle, he was the chef many places in New Orleans. Shout out to Mike. He said it best once. We were talking, like, and somebody was like, so what's the coolest thing about being a chef? And he's like, to be frank, you know, it's like we're knights amongst gentrymen. So we're like able to walk this line between, you know, hanging out with like the guys in the line and being, you know, down with the homies, and then also being accepted by a lot of people in, like, you know, nose in the air society. And in fact, a lot of times there's like this romantic, because of Food Network or whatever, Anthony Bourdain, there's this whole romantic, you know, fantasize. There's this fantasy and fixation. They think like, man, we're just out here. It's like nonstop, you know, excitement, party, all that stuff. And there's a lot of that. Now, you know that, bro.
Yeah.
You know that, bro.
But there's a lot of hardship in that industry.
Yeah, there's blood, sweat, and tears that go into it.
Yeah.
But that's a great, you know, that's a great story from school.
What's your vision now? I mean, dude, to be at your age where you're at, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Satisfaction is a trap. I'm sure you're ambitious and looking for the future. What kind of product, or, you know, is it just relationships? Like, what is your next step? What are you looking for?
So this season coming up is going to be like my big test to see how New Jersey can really be. and possibly keep building on that. I think this is gonna be my biggest year. Obviously, I've only been doing it for one, but like this one, that's like it's gonna be huge.
No sophomore slump.
No sophomore.
Yeah.
So now we got my friend from culinary school. He dropped out his first semester. He works in New York City. He's been working at all the Michelin star restaurants, trying to learn everything. And so now, since we're realizing, you know, like you heard of Noma closed down.
Sure.
So he told me, he was like, hey, like there's a huge market in New York City right now. People want Michelin star quality food, but in their house because it's not sustainable for the restaurants anymore. We don't want to go there. And he's like, okay, that's fine. And so now he's going to take over that for me, use my business, and he's going to be going around to those houses, hitting those clients. I take a percentage of stuff like that. And then we got, obviously, all the Jets players and stuff, all the different athletes I have. And I'm going to have students from my school come down, and they're going to do that for me. And then the plan is to knock out as many Jets players as possible, bring in all that money, and then when the time is done with the season, we're looking to go to Miami right after that because I just got a job offer from Rick Ross. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
I do.
He is a big rapper. Yeah. And he wants me to come down there and make him a little menu out of rap snacks and stuff like that. So the sky's the limit right now. I mean, my sister, who's just with DJ Khaled
Yeah, that was cool.
a few days ago. I mean, maybe something happens there, a little collab, a little DJ Khaled and everybody, and hopefully get my name out there well amongst. So I start getting some real big clients, some big hitters, and then...
And another one.
And another one. God did.
Dude, whenever I'm like feeling some type of way and I really need to get motivated, Rick Ross always gets me going. My ringtone has been hustling for years. You've heard it, right? Go off, my ringtone.
No, never.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
once.
And that
You don't say.
Elvis Presley
This Rick
Boulevard
Ross guy.
track, though.
Tell me more about him.
He's a badass dude, man.
I know, man.
Anyway, well, if you get down to Miami, we should go to a.
I used to live down that way.
Where are we
man.
gonna go? We're gonna go to a trade show in Miami. We'll just have to see how you're doing,
Yeah, let's do it.
Mr. Rose.
As soon as I turn 21, I'm going to live. So if y'all want to go hit that up.
Nice.
I did my 21st birthday at Club Bed in South Beach. I'm not sure if Bed's still there, but my ex-brother-in-law used to be one of the partners there, and yeah, it was a really cool time. It was actually, to be honest, my 21st birthday though. I was in South Beach, Miami. It had VIP access to the most amazing club in South Beach, and it was one of the second most boring night to my bachelor party. That's real talk. I've had wilder nights here on a Monday than either of those, but yeah, that's awesome. Miami's cool, man. It's a whole. Have you been down there?
I have not. I've only been to Fort Lauderdale. Casey's telling me about it, and I was like, okay,
It's
I
like,
gotta go.
It's when
Yeah,
you
for
get
sure.
there, it's like you cross into another country.
Really?
Yeah, you get over there, and then first thing you're gonna notice, it's gonna be Ferrari, Lambo. Well, now it's like McLaren, whatever. It's getting just like Bentley rolls. Everybody is like, everybody is gorgeous. Nobody speaks a lot of. There's not, a lot of people don't speak English there, which is cool. Because that's when when they're not speaking English, so you're gonna find some good authentic food. Like hey, the oxtail, the Cubans. When I'm trying, if you get down, depending on the season, like stone crab and the spiny lobster, Miami's an amazing place. Will Smith, he immortalized it in his song, and that's what plays in my head whenever I think.
Did the Maybach Music Group reach out to you, or how did you?
So what happened is I DM'd him on Instagram as well, but this other chef, his name's Chef Dame. He's this chef over in Phoenix, and he cooks for a lot of athletes and stuff like that. And so he was doing something with him and told him about me and like put my name, like gave it to him and stuff like that. And all of a sudden I'm sitting in my room and I get a phone call, and it's like from unknown caller, and usually I would just like decline it, and I answer, and I was like, "So how's it going? It's the biggest boss." And that was like the first thing he says out of his mouth, and I was like, "Oh, there's no chance." And I'm just
He
like,
said, "It's the biggest boss."
word
That's
for word,
amazing.
first thing he says to me,
See, I love this guy even more now.
and I'm just like, I'm getting all nervous and I'm freaking out. I'm like, "There's no chance. Like this has got to be fake. Like somebody's like pranking me right now." He's like, "Hey, I heard you coming down to Phoenix to go, meet with Chef Dame." He's like, "Man, screw that guy." He's like, "Let's go get these wrap snacks together. I want you to make me a menu based out of wrap snacks." And so now I got to come up with like a 5-course menu using his chips.
Yeah.
Dog, all you need, what you need to do is go commit a low-level misdemeanor where you're gonna spend when you're gonna spend like get yourself like a 30-day bid, go in there, learn the art of the swole, the hookup. Now there's all these dudes on TikTok doing it. You got the dude, the busting or disgusting dude, which I love that guy. But yeah, dude, look up swoles. I'm not sure. Are you familiar with this?
Possibly.
So
I know I've seen. I just don't know the name.
So rap snacks, essentially you're gonna have the ramens and the chips and that stuff. But yeah, what you need to do is, like I'm saying, man, go do some flagrant shoplifting. Get yourself, tell your boss, be like, look, man, it's just a misdemeanor. It's just like it's for research purposes. Get yourself into the clink for a couple weeks, for a month, and then get yourself some commissary, and then get some hookups and swoles going. It's amazing.
That's what's up. Do you want to tell the audience where they can find your information and build up your brand, brother?
Yeah, so Instagram, Chef Rubenstein, and it'll show my other link right there. Rubenstein Chef & Co. is my business. We got a website out, RubensteinChefandCo.com, and yeah, that's where it is. Or you can hit my personal line, 540-333-6323.
Nice.
Put that down.
That's what's up, dude. Yeah, I love the bet. You're just getting in the DM and getting the jobs, man. Good for you. Very ambitious.
Lucky, man. That's all I can say is I wouldn't have anything.
God has a plan for you, bro.
Luck is opportunity and preparation at the same time, man. So you did what you did and you got what you got, man. It's cool.
Yeah.
So if you know Rick, then you're gonna know our boy Aubrey, aka Drake.
Oh my God.
You're gonna know all them people, man.
If I met Drake, that'd be insane.
They all run together. Wale. They're all part of that music group.
That'd be insane. Imagine me, like, I got to make cooked kosher food for Drake. His little Jewish occasions.
Yes.
That'd be insane.
Yo, man, we talked about it outside, dude. I'm telling you, I think this
is a big market.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Well, you're welcome to come here, be a private chef, a chef over here. We'll have you kind of do an event with us or something. It'd be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Or I know, does Shenandoah University have a culinary program, or anybody around here have any culinary programs?
Yeah, most of the schools have the vocationals. They got the
maybe do like a
classes.
TED Talk up here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm down.
That'd be cool.
With whatever.
All right, man. You're welcome to stick out the night. We got Tony Woods coming up.
Awesome.
And thanks for coming out quick notice.
Appreciate you guys for having me. It means a lot.
You're going to have a lot of stories when you're 30.
Oh, I can't wait.
40. Crazy. That's awesome. All right, give it up for Rubenstein, y'all.
Thank you.
Peace.
Thank you.
It's not just the new venue in town. It's a monument to live entertainment.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
The Monument, the new premier concert and event venue in Winchester. 2 stories, state-of-the-art sound, delicious food and drink, and the best in live events. The Monument, on the corner of Loudon and Piccadilly in Winchester, and right at the cutting edge of live entertainment. Go to themonumentva.com. That's themonumentva.com for events, tickets, special offers, and more. The Monument. We'll see you at the next show.